thoroughly understanding of pride and arrogance in order to easily let them go. Pride has a variety of meanings, including the pride of thinking oneself is superior to others. Second, the pride in progress, and the delusion that one has attained nirvana. This is one of the 10 stages, or objects in meditation. Third, the pride as a banner, rearing itself aloft. Fourth, the pride because of clan or name. This is one of the 8 kinds of pride or arrogance. Fifth, the pride because of good or charitable deeds. This is one of the 8 kinds of pride or arrogance. Sixth, the pride because of years of age. This is one of the 8 kinds of pride or arrogance. Seventh, the pride in false views or doings. This is one of the 8 kinds of pride, mana, arrogance or self-conceit. Eighth, the pride of regarding self as little inferior to those who far surpass one, vaunting one's inferiority, or flace humility. Ninth, the pride of regarding self as little inferior to those who far surpass one, pride of thinking oneself is not much inferior to those who surpass us, the pride of regarding self as little inferior to those who far surpass one. This is one of the 7 kinds of pride, the pride of thinking myself not much inferior to those who far surpass me, one of the 9 kinds of pride. 10th, the pride of self, or the pride of self-superiority. It is to say exalting self and depreciating others, or self-intoxication or pride of self, or the ego conceit, egotism. 11th, the pride of thinking oneself is equal to those who surpass us. The pride which among superiors regards self as equal, one of the 7 arrogances. The pride of thinking oneself equal to those who surpass us. This is also one of the 9 kinds of pride. 12th, the pride of thinking oneself is superior to equals. The pride which among equals regards self as superior, one of the 7 arrogances. The pride which among equals regards self as superior, and among superiors as equal. Superiority over equals, and equality with superiors. 13th, self-conceit, or high opinion of oneself, or haughtiness. Haughtiness means vaunting, assertion of possessing the truth. Haughtiness is one of the 7 arrogances. Pride, of superior knowledge. Haughtiness. Self-conceit. High opinion of oneself. A monk who thinks to have attained more than is the fact. A supremely lofty, haughty, arrogant monk who has high opinion of oneself. Self-conceit, self-pride, haughtiness, and refuses to hear the Buddha's teachings. One of the 7 arrogances. When the Buddha preached about the Lotus Sutra, there were 5,000 disciples who, in their Hinayana superiority, thought they had gained all wisdom, and refused to hear the Lotus Sutra. There are 7 other arrogances. First, asserting superiority over inferiors, and equality with equals. Second, the pride which among equals regards self as superior, and among superiors as equal. Superiority over equals, and equality with superiors. Third, superiority over manifest superiors. Fourth, egotism or overweening pride. Fifth, vaunting assertion of possessing the truth. Sixth, vaunting one's inferiority, or flace humility. The pride of regarding self as little inferior to those who far surpass one. And seventh, vaunting lack of virtue for virtue. Besides, there are 8 kinds of pride, or arrogance. First, arrogance because of strength. Second, pride because of clan or name. Third, arrogance because of wealth. Fourth, arrogance because of independence, or high position. Fifth, pride because of years of age. Sixth, arrogance because of cleverness. Seventh, Pride because of good or charitable deeds. 8th. Arrogance because of good looks. According to the Mahayana Buddhism, there are other 8 kinds of arrogance. First, though inferior, to think oneself equal to others in religion. Second, thought superior, to think oneself superior among manifest superiors. Third, to think oneself not so much inferior among manifest superiors. Fourth, to think one has attained more than is the fact. Fifth, self-superiority or self-sufficiency. Sixth, pride in false views or doings. Seventh, arrogance. Eighth, extreme arrogance. According to Abhidharma, there are 9 forms of pride. First, that I surpass those who are equal to me. Second, I am equal to those who surpass me. The pride of thinking oneself equal to those who surpass us. Third, that I am not so bad as others. Fourth, that others surpass me. Fifth, none are equal to me. Sixth, none are inferior to me. Seventh, none surpass me. Eighth, that are equal to me. Ninth, that are worse than me. According to the Flower Adornment Sutra, there are 10 kinds of conceited action of great enlightening beings. Enlightening beings who can get rid of these 10 kinds of conceited action will attain 10 kinds of actions of knowledge. First, not respecting teachers, parents, mendicants, people on the right path, people aiming for the right path, or honorable fields of blessings, is conceited action. Second, if there are teachers who have attained to supreme truth, who ride the great vehicle of universal enlightenment, who know the way to emancipation, who have attained mental command, and expound the great principles of the scriptures, to be haughty toward them, or their teachings, and to be disrespectful is conceited action. Third, when in an audience hearing the sublime teaching expounded, to be unwilling to laud its excellence, and cause others to believe and accept it, is conceited action. The fourth conceited action, habitually conceiving the illusion of superiority, elevating oneself and looking down on others, not seeing one's own faults, and not knowing one's own shortcoming. The fifth conceited action, habitually imagining that one is better than those who are better than oneself, not praising virtuous people who are praiseworthy, not being happy when others praise virtuous people. Sixth, when seeing someone preach, in spite of knowing it is the norm, the rule, the truth, the word of Buddha, to despise the teaching, because of disliking the person, to slander it and incite others to slander it, is conceited action. The seventh conceited action, seeking a high seat for oneself, declaring oneself to a teacher, declaring oneself to be worthy of receiving offerings, not supposed to work, failing to rise to greet old people who have cultivated spiritual practice for a long time, being unwilling to serve and make offerings to enlightening beings. Eighth, frowning unhappily on seeing people with virtue, speaking to them harshly, and looking for faults in them, is conceited action. The ninth conceited action, when seeing intelligent people who know the truth, not being willing to approach and attend them, not respecting and honoring them, being unwilling to ask them what is good and what is not good, what should be done and what should not be done, what acts result in various benefits and comforts in the long night, being foolish and deluded, stubborn and contentious, swallowed by self-importance, never able to see the way of emancipation. The 10th conceited action, mind shrouded by conceit, when Buddhas appear in the world, are unable to approach, respect, and honor them. No new good arises, and goodness from the past evaporates and vanishes. They say what they should not, they contend where they should not. In the future they will surely fall into a deep pit of danger and will not even encounter Buddha, much less hearing the teaching, for hundreds of thousands of eons, though because of having once conceived the aspiration for enlightenment they will in the end wake up on their own. According to the Surangama Sutra, Book 8, the Buddha reminded Ananda about the habit of arrogance as follows. Habits of arrogance and resulting friction, which give rise to mutual intimidation. When it accelerates without cease, it produces torrents and rapids which create restless waves of water. Just as water is produced when a person continuously works his tongue in an effort to taste flavors. Because these two habits incite one another, there come into being the river of blood, the river of ashes, the burning sand, the poisonous sea, the molten copper which is poured over one, or which must be swallowed, and other such experiences. Therefore, the thus come ones of the 10 directions look upon self-satisfaction, and name it drinking the water of stupidity. Bodhisattvas should avoid arrogance, as they would a huge deluge. Devout Buddhists should always remember that envy is generated by one's feeling of inferiority, while pride, haughtiness, and arrogance are born from a false sense of superiority. These kinds of pride and arrogance are caused by looking at things from a distorted, self-centered point of view. Those who have truly understood the Buddha's teachings and been able to obtain a right view of things will never succumb to such warped thinking. There are many different kinds of arrogance. The first kind of pride is the arrogance in progress, and the delusion that one has attained nirvana. This is one of the 10 stages, or objects in meditation. The second kind of pride is the self-superiority, or self-sufficiency, or the pride of self. The third kind of pride is the exalting self, and depreciating others, or the self-intoxication, or pride of self. The fourth kind of pride is the ego conceit or the egotism. According to the Kosa Sastra, there are 7 pretensions, or arrogances. First, asserting superiority over inferiors, and equality with equals. Second, the pride which among equals regards self as superior and among superiors as equal. Superiority over equals, and equality with superiors. Third, superiority over manifest superiors. Fourth, egotism or overweening pride. Fifth, vaunting assertion of possessing the truth. Sixth, vaunting one's inferiority, or flace humility. The pride of regarding self as little, inferior to those who far surpass one. Seventh, vaunting lack of virtue for virtue. Pride is the inflated opinion of ourselves, and can manifest in relation to some good or bad object. When we look down from a high mountain, everyone below seems to have shrunken in size. When we hold ourselves to be superior to others, and have an inflated opinion of ourselves, we take on a superior aspect. It is extremely difficult to develop any good qualities at all when one has pride, for no matter how much the teacher may teach that person, it will do no good. Haughtiness means false arrogance, thinking oneself correct in spite of one's wrong conduct, thinking oneself is good in spite of one's very bad in reality. Haughtiness also means arrogance and conceit due to one's illusion of having completely understood what one has hardly comprehended at all. Haughtiness is one of the main hindrances in our cultivation. In cultivating the way, we must have genuine wisdom. Those who have genuine wisdom never praise themselves and disparage others. These people never consider themselves the purest and loftiest, and other people common and lowly. Once we, Buddhist practitioners, get rid of pride and arrogance also means that we have already pushed away one of the great obstacles on our own path of cultivation. In Buddhism, those who praise themselves have no future in their cultivation of the way. Even though they are still alive, they can be considered as dead, for they have gone against their own conscience and integrity.